In September, South Africans will gain access to the savings pot aspect of their retirement savings with the implementation of the new two-pot retirement system. We look at how this will affect businesses and entrepreneurs. Wealth expert and entrepreneur Gerald Mwandiambira joins us now for more on this discussion. Gerald, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Perhaps let's start off here. I mean, South Africans are continuing to have these discussions around the two-pot retirement system. And let's start off with your thoughts with the entire system as a whole.
Look, I think the two-pot system is trying to meet the needs of South Africans in terms of saying people need to have some access to some of their retirement savings in times of hardship, whilst at the same time maintaining some measure of ensuring that people have an element where you are encouraged to save for retirement. So it's middle ground. I think the one extreme would have been to entirely let people have access to their full retirement savings, whilst the harsh side would have been not letting people access retirement savings, especially after COVID-19 depleted many people's savings, requiring many people to start looking elsewhere just to survive.
And maybe let's explore what ways this can be beneficial to South Africans, to use, their retirement savings pot.
Look, it's not really beneficial in the sense that the moment you utilize funds you've saved for retirement, you're diminishing the return you get when you retire. So you're eating your future today. But if you are in that situation where you really need funds to maybe survive or to start a business because you've now since become unemployed, it would help you. And that's really part of the reason why this system was introduced, that there's a lot of people who are at that point where they're a bit too old to get a new job, but they've got a whole lot of money in retirement savings, which they might want to be able to access just to boost them. So I think, the good side is that the economy needs spending. Whenever people spend, it benefits everyone in the economy, from SARS right through to the retailers. But it needs to be controlled and it needs to be thought out, because if you're simply taking that money because you've got a chance to access it, you could be hurting your future.
And I like the fact that you say that eating your retirement now and you're eating it for the future. And one would say, how does it hamper then your savings towards your retirement?
Well, if you look at your retirement savings, generally speaking, it depends on compound interest. And compound interest is interest on interest. And the closer you get to retirement, the more interest you start to accrue. Eating money and taking away money in the early stages is actually taking away a lot of money, which would have been there at the later stages. So we just need to be very careful in that if you are going to be someone who wants to exercise your right to withdraw, sit down with a financial planning professional and just go through the numbers and understand the consequences. And if you have a plan to catch up, then implement that plan. But you really need to realize that this option is because there are some people who really need access to those funds just to get by. But for many people, it might be a situation where you're eating into retirement savings, which were already insufficient because you hadn't planned adequately for retirement. So it's also an opportunity to sit down and set your goal and make sure that you're still on track if you hadn't done that in a few years.
And you're saying that, there are some people who are really in need of this money, and we saw this during COVID-19 as well. And what do you have to say to those who say, well, this two-pot retirement system is simply a scam? When you look at the amount of money you'll be charged for taxes and, the admin costs as well, what do you have to say to those people who are calling this a scam?
Well, it's not a scam, but I think they're rightly pointing out that you're not going to get your 30,000. There's tax to consider, and there will be admin costs. So you're going to actually lose out on a bit of money. So you're not getting as much as you think. So which means think about it before you use that money. And remember, once that money is in your savings pot, it doesn't mean that you have to use it this year. You could leave it in your savings pot and actually use it next year or the year after. The money will still be there for you, and you'll still have the right to make that withdrawal. Don't do it because everyone else is doing it. And remember also that the 1st of September is just the date when you can start withdrawing. The process needs you to get a tax directive and the administrator to pay out. And normally it's an 8 to 12-week process. So most people are not going to see their 1 September money until December. So bear that in mind if you're that person who's gone and made and promised your debtors that on the 3rd of September you'll sort them out. It's not going to happen. Probably you'll see that money late November or December.
Let's zoom in on the entrepreneurs now. And, with a retirement system of this magnitude and these kind of savings, what does it mean and translate to for those who are in entrepreneurship?
Look, if you're an entrepreneur, it's an opportunity for you to either tap into that money in terms of getting people to spend on your business, or if you are an entrepreneur who is using that money, in terms of your second income or your side hustle, then obviously that's a bit of a cash injection which you can use to boost your business, maybe get stock for the festive period, because there is going to be a lot of money floating around come the festive season. So there is that opportunity for savvy entrepreneurs to take advantage of it, and also for those who are thinking of maybe becoming entrepreneurs, maybe to use that to boost your second income.
And would you say that, for entrepreneurs and businesses, this is a chance where they can really grow their business regardless of, the costs involved?
Definitely. I think I've read some numbers which say there'll be almost 80 billion rand coming into the system. If you're a good entrepreneur, you'll catch some of that. So 80 billion rand is not small change. Even SARS are smiling. They might be able to help the fiscus and national treasury quite a bit, because they will get access to that money first. And beware also, if you owe SARS money or you have tax penalties, they're going to get those first. So if you're that person, it might not even be worth it for you to make that withdrawal, because you'll simply be settling a debt to the receiver of revenue.
Can it also maybe hamper your business because, looking at business prospects and you are plowing in this money from your retirement, trying to establish your business and, it goes belly up? What does it mean then for those who have taken a portion of their retirement to build a business, that may never come to fruition?
Look, I think that's the risk most entrepreneurs take. Entrepreneurship, by its very nature, is risk-orientated. So I think most entrepreneurs will realize that if they're putting money into their business, it may or may not work out. But the main thing is understanding the consequence of how much you've lost in the future by eating your money today.
What is your advice to entrepreneurs, who are looking into tapping into this amount of money, especially now during this very critical time in our economy where we have a high unemployment rate, stagnant economy as well? What is your advice to them?
Look, I would say time your business opportunity to around mid to late November into December, so you can target the so-called Black Friday season, find some specials. And we're now in a very digital economy, so whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, make sure you've got access to your clients through a mobile device, because those who get to the clients first are going to benefit. So generally, most people are online. So if you have an opportunity you want to chase, make sure that you're ready in the digital sphere, and also time it correctly, because as much as the withdrawal starts 1 September, the money starts trickling into the system probably 8 weeks later, which could be late October, November, December.
All right, Gerald, thank you so much for your time this evening. That is Gerald Mwandiambira there, just giving us his insight when it comes to what does the two-pot retirement savings pot mean then for those in the entrepreneurship sector. He is a wealth expert as well as an entrepreneur.